Well, we are actually going to start in 1 minute. I'd say it's showtime, go time. Okay, today's session should not be too long at all. I will give it maybe another minute to have so people can hop on. And then after that, we will get started. And of course, as always, if you're not able to make it to the live session, just make sure you have registered for this 6-day event, because once it has been recorded, the recordings will be uploaded into Thinkific. That way you will have access to the replays indefinitely. And then also you can go to YouTube and watch the replays, and of course on LinkedIn if you're here on LinkedIn. But I like the idea of it being uploaded into Thinkific because it's all in one place and you don't have to look for the course, especially as long as you have registered for this event. Okay, well, I'm going to get started. Others will join later. All right, welcome to day 2 of the 6-day LinkedIn growth strategy training for clinical research professionals, entrepreneurs. Today, we're going to talk about how I went from 0 to, honestly, it's over 3,800 followers. I just looked at my following. I'm at 3,882 followers. And then as far as with I'll get into that a little bit. So the power of showing the process and not perfection. You are building authority in real time. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. And LinkedIn wants you to show that your authentic self. And that's what the platform wants. Okay, if you do not know me by now, again, my name is Alicia Moore. I'm the CEO of Clinical Science Research Solutions, and I'm also the founder of I Am Research and Wellness Foundation. Welcome to day 2, and we're going to go over a little bit of yesterday, a recap. So yesterday was all about visibility, mindset shifts, momentum from showing up. Today, we're going to talk about the secret sauce, if you will, on sustaining a LinkedIn growth. Meaning you're sharing the journey and not just your successes or your wins. What you will learn today. So today, you're going to figure out and learn what does LinkedIn actually prioritize in 2025. This is based on platform published research. You will hear about my personal framework that grew my audience to 3,882 followers as of today. And as far as the newsletter subscribers, I am now at 1,239. Yesterday, I think I was at 1,234, something like that. You will learn the exact types of process posts that attract real clients and partnerships, tips to increase your SSI score and boost visibility with the right audience, practical posting plan you can implement in 24 hours or less. Again, this is for clinical research professionals, site owners, aspiring site owners, entrepreneurs, healthcare consultants, B2B service providers, and visibility focused leaders. By the end of this session, you'll know how to turn your progress into power and use LinkedIn as a magnet for opportunity. It has many, many opportunities as long as you position yourself correctly. What does LinkedIn actually want from you? Well, they want you to post your story. It doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be rooted in honesty and consistency, which leads to trust, partnerships, and real B2B deals. I would like to share my experience from today. Again, because I've been showing up and I'm visible on LinkedIn, and I'm sharing my journey on how I'm building a clinical research site infrastructure in Sikeston, Missouri, Southeast Missouri. Again, this is allowing people are gravitating toward me, including B2B business owners or organizations. So essentially today, I was introduced to an individual, which I've talked to the individual before just a little bit, but today a colleague of mine formally introduced us. And long story short, I don't know what's going to come out of it. I'm sure something positive, but the conversation, it went as far as saying, hey, this particular university can use, an individual or this type of services or what you have to offer. Now, I want you to hear me clearly whenever I specifically said a university. This university is not even in Missouri. Now, the goal, and this is a B2B contact, B2B relationship that could form out of this. And even if it does not, the fact of the matter is this individual is associated with a university, and basically saying the university could use what I have to offer, which they're my courses. So I say that to say, whenever you're actually building out a business and it has value, that your audience, your platform, your niche, your community, it needs it because there's a gap and it's not there. Do not allow anybody to tell you that it's not needed. You know exactly what your niche, your community needs. You build it with confidence, and you talk about building it on social media. And I promise you, God help my soul, that the B2B organizations will see that, and it will forever change your life and your perspective, and your mindset will shift from a scarcity mindset from a mindset of abundance, no matter what people say. So here's a source that talks about authenticity in the age of algorithms. LinkedIn Marketing Collective. And here's a quote: as AI evolves, the value of human emotion and authenticity increases. We crave quality over quantity, not pixel perfect content, but what really matters is the human connection. I will strongly emphasize, and again, as I mentioned yesterday, and I'll say it again today, whenever you are showing up on LinkedIn, these platforms, and you're sharing your story, you don't have to air out all the dirty laundry or air out anything that's going to embarrass you, but you share enough to where your audience is going to feel, it's going to hit them emotionally, and they're going to be able to connect with you on a deeper level. And then not only that, it's going to build trust. They're going to see that you are not just faking it, right? You can only fake it for so long, and then people will be able to realize that you're not being truthful. The source, and I can add these sources into the chat. Source number 2 says, just don't stress about the content because it's not going to be perfect. You go ahead and hit the publish button. And that's a LinkedIn B2B marketing team quote. The content is a volume game. Success is about showing up consistently and not in the perfect manner. Social first content should be fast, irritative, and honest. See, not perfect. You show up, keep talking, get through it, tongue tied at all. Doesn't matter. People want to see that you're real. You don't want to get on here and you're a monotone, or you sound like a robot, or you're acting like a robot. showing up and even making mistakes. I make mistakes all the time during the webinars, but I keep going. I laugh it off because it is funny. We're not perfect. And the fact of the matter is I'm still going to show up tomorrow, the day after that, the week after that, and the month after that, because I have a story to tell and I'm building a business that's going to benefit where I live. It's going to benefit the people that are surrounding me. And really, it's going to be a trickling effect, not just for my community, even businesses, B2B partnerships and deals. How did I grow from 0 to almost, I'm going to say I would probably hit 4,000 followers next week. Now, I will say and emphasize the followers, sometimes I wouldn't call them good quality followers because it may be fake profiles, but you want to make for sure that your followers, and you can't help who your followers are, that they're good quality followers, or you're being intentional about going on LinkedIn to see, like, if you're wanting to do a B2B business deal with B2B clients, you're actually going on LinkedIn and you are looking up, let's say, universities and maybe who the president of the university is, and, you know, connecting with them, and maybe even their employers, and sometimes maybe the students. If you're wanting to do B2C clients, you don't wait to launch your product or to launch your business or to just start talking about it. You just go ahead and do it. You brained up, you think about what you want to say. I will say that. And then you organize your thoughts, and then just don't hesitate. Just start sharing your story. And as time goes on, you will be able to perfect what you have. So again, just to reiterate it, I have almost 4,000 followers, and I will have 1,400 newsletter subscribers in about less than 2 months at this point. I've been invited to have B2B beta test invitations, opportunities, again, partnership co-branding opportunities. My visibility score is high, all because whenever I show up on LinkedIn, my visibility is there, and then I'm showing up, you know, with a purpose and telling my story and telling it in a way that people see that I'm not perfect. One of the stories that I shared on LinkedIn, I guess seems like a month ago, I talked about how I wanted to get into medical school and how that went, and I never did. I felt like I failed. There was a point in time I didn't even want to share that story because I was embarrassed, so embarrassed because I didn't make it into medical school. But what I did was I shared the positive side of it. The positive side is I landed in the clinical research industry, and then the possibilities, the business that I'm birthing, well, it's been birthed. Now I'm feeding it, right? I'm nurturing and feeding my baby at this point. It has blown my mind. The opportunities that have presented itself has blown my mind. The creative ideas and thoughts, me personally, that God has dropped into my spirit has been one of the best decisions I could have ever made in my life. And no one, and I mean no one, can tell me otherwise. No one can tell me that what I'm creating is not needed. You're wasting your time and you're wasting your breath whenever you're talking to me about it. So that's the attitude that you need to have whenever you're showing up on LinkedIn. You have these ideas dropped into your spirit. Make sure it's aligned with your ideal niche, your audience, and make sure it's something that you're wanting to talk about in your sleep and you can talk about it for hours. And then make sure you allow people to see that sometimes you do fail. This is not a perfect journey. No journey is perfect. So let's break it down. What did I do and what does LinkedIn endorse? I shared live process posts, and what they endorse is prioritizing human emotion and quality over polish. What I did, I skipped over revisions. Now, I will say it doesn't hurt to revise because sometimes we can post something, and I'm guilty of it. I posted something and it's got these errors and typos, and it's like, oh shoot, I thought I revised it. So yeah, you need to revise it, but at some point you need to go ahead and hit the publish button and publish it fast. Even if your story, you feel like it's messy, we all have messy stories, but the messy story can turn into something that's solid. It can turn into a post that's going to change lives for others. And you don't know who you're going to have a positive impact on somebody else's life. And they may be sitting on the sidelines on making a decision. And whenever you have shared your story, that's going to prompt them to go ahead and make the decisions that they need to move forward in whatever it is they're wanting to create or whatever it is that they're passionate about. Implementation, how to start showing the process. I'm going to check something right quick. Let's see. Okay. This is what I call the 3P framework: the progress, the pain, the position. The progress is what you share. You share what you're working on, even if it's messy. And sometimes that is painful. Being honest about your challenges. We do not like to admit that we have challenges, but we all do. Please don't allow anyone to approach you and say, oh, my journey was just perfect and I've cracked every code in the book and I've got it down to the T. That's not true. We're all trying to figure it out and trying to perfect our story. But what makes it perfect is the fact that you're able to learn from your challenges and then move on and do better. And again, the position, reflect on the lesson or insight gain, and then learn from it, grow. That should teach you to grow from your business or whatever they call it, lessons learned. So what are the 3 types of process posts to try this week? Behind the scenes of a meeting or a task. I've done this a lot. So in one of my mentorship programs, I have showed a few clips of a CRC talking to one of my mentors about the day in the life of a CRC. I have posted my team meetings, like a picture of my instructors and I on how we're coming together, talking about how we're going to build out this academy. And then in my other mentorship program, I took pictures of my mentees. We either have our little sips or whatever it is that we're drinking, not liquor, water during that time frame. So again, I'm showing like, hey, this is what I'm building out step by step. And I'm sharing the journey, I'm sharing the process and how it's going. Again, you don't have to do a deep dive into the nitty gritty, but just enough so people can see the progress that you're making in whatever it is that you're doing or trying to do. Again, 3 types of process posts to try this week: what you're building or researching today. I just talked about that. And again, the challenges that you're facing and how you're navigating around it. So for an example, today I finalized a new PI conversation while preparing for a co-branded partnership rollout in July. I'm not done yet, but I'm sharing it anyway. So for me personally, I'm actually building out my PI, I call it a PI packet. And this PI packet will be shared with my mentees in the Site Startup mentorship program I'm building out. And I will be working on that tonight, sending it to my primary care physician, making sure everything is all buttoned up. I am actually going to create a portfolio, and within the portfolio, I'm going to send her a video as well so she can see, the teaching methods and who she's going to be working with. And then I will follow up with that to see if we can schedule another coffee chat. And in the process, in the meantime, I'm waiting for my onboarding process to start in July with another company. Of course, I'm not done yet. I don't think we're ever going to be done. We're always going to be evolving and changing up and implementing and perfecting whatever we have built. A bonus B2B angle. What does this say to high ticket clients? What it says is they're not just buying a service. They see the visibility, the momentum, and proof of execution. You can't just get on here and talk about what you have. You People want to see a transformation. So essentially what I'm building is a process, infrastructure that's going to provide a transformation for my ideal clients or for my B2B clients as well. Again, share your process. You show your operational readiness. You demonstrate through thought leadership. You attract partnership of interest and not just likes. It's not the likes that's going to help you gain the B2B partnership. I'm going to speak for myself because a lot of times I post something and I'm thinking, well, not very many people said anything. They didn't like it. But the thing of it is, it's who's in my inbox. They do not say anything on my post, but what they do is they go to my inbox, and then those are the conversations. That's what matters. They still see what you post. So my thing to you is post whatever you have, even if it's not perfect, because the right client, the right business owner or high ticket client, whoever they are, they're going to come to you. They're going to be in your inbox, and there are going to be lots of discussions. And at that point, what happens is meetings. You start having meetings with these individuals. So your visibility is your proposal, and LinkedIn is where they are reading it. They're actually reading almost like your blueprint. To me, that's what I see it as. Your own personal blueprint. You're not following anybody else's to the T. You're taking advice from people that have done it before you, and then you build your own lane. I'm creating my own lane, and I'm staying in my lane, and I love the lane that I'm in, and nobody's going to deter me or cause me to veer off the lane that I'm building and I'm traveling down. So I'm going to give you a visual, and this is something I want you to keep in mind whenever you are building your business, because you're going to have people that's going to doubt you. You're going to have people that's going to flinch at your prices. But here is the catch. Say, for instance, a lot of us have a degree. I do. And I'm not saying not to go to college and get your degree because you need it. But you have to understand that even after college, there comes a time that you're still going to have to invest in yourself as a business owner or as an entrepreneur, and even the side hustle part. So my question to you is, are you able to tell your story at a university and monetize it? I want you to be real with yourself. Can you do that? I'll answer it. The answer is no. You can share your story in a classroom, but it's not going to land you the B2B clients, the huge partnerships, or visibility. It just depends. Now, it could be, this individual is a football player and they've landed a contract with some NFL team. Now, that's a little different, but I'm not necessarily talking about that. It won't necessarily help you launch a business, not the way you should with the mentorship, and it definitely won't pay you back. So I'm going to exit out of this and give you a visual. Okay. Now, I do this, and I'm saying this because I'm a business owner myself. So whenever you think about investing in yourself as an entrepreneur, you're going to spend the money. You need to invest in a mentor, and whatever platform, whatever business model that you have, you're going to have to spend the money either way. It doesn't matter if you have a college degree or not. No one cares about that. But let me show you what happens whenever you, let's say, attend a university versus my mentorship program, right? The real ROI, real skills, and real clients. I'm not going to go over all of this, but as you can see, if you attend one of the top universities, look at the amount of money that you spend per year versus whenever you invest in one of my programs, it's not going to take you 4 years to pay it off, 4+ years, as a matter of fact. And you're not going to spend, well, not in this case, you're not spending $100K. You're looking at room and board, the cost of that. Whereas with me, it costs $0 to learn remotely. I mean, obviously you have the internet, but that's nothing. Books and fees, $3,000 to $5,000 per year. For me, nothing. The total cost of attending a university, you're looking at a price of, I've seen $500,000 or $400,000. It's pretty expensive, especially whenever you start getting into like your MD programs and graduate programs, right? For the mentees, it's B2C. Now, B2C, a $35K max. And again, it's not going to take you 4 years to pay it off, maybe 3. However, whenever you start creating your content and I help you package up your whatever services that you have to offer, I make sure that you price it correctly. That way, whenever it's time for you to pay this off, you'll be able to pay it off within a year or less. So the debt upon graduation is $90,000 to $250,000. As long as, and I'm working with my grant writer, so my clients can have scholarship opportunities. And then, of course, there's the financing. The financing only goes up to 36 months. It won't go any past that. So again, you're going to have it paid off within 3 years or less. You gain a degree with the hope of finding a job. And most of the time, you know, a lot of times you get the degree and you're standing right next to a person that's working at a factory. With me, there's income producing services plus a product. Now, I will say, if you're in the medical field, like I was, you know, the job placement is a little different. You do get placed with the job, but a lot of these degrees that you're getting at these universities, there's really, you're just hoping, wishing, and praying for a job afterwards. And a lot of times, you know, you have PhD students, they're not getting the jobs that they thought they were going to get after college, even your BS students. Do you have client access? No, but whenever you align and enroll in my program, you do. Is there an income strategy taught? No, not at a university, but I teach you these things in my mentorship program. Do you have access to a marketing team, a real marketing team, and a legal team? Nope. You have that in my mentorship program. Mentorship at the colleges, to me, they're limited. They have them, but they're not. I've experienced some mentorship programs at colleges, and I feel like they're not very thorough. I feel like they're very not genetic, but generic. But with me, you receive direct industry support, not anything that's generic. It is literally support and advice within this industry. Product ownership, no. But whenever you create your product within my mentorship program, you own your IP plus the offer. Grant scholarships, that doesn't go to everybody. And sometimes that's rare. It's not that it does happen, but not everybody receives it. But with my program, we're working towards making sure that all my students will have a scholarship, access to scholarship. Financing options, well, I mean, you do, but the interest is high. And I can vouch for myself. I'm still making monthly payments on mine, and I graduated a long time ago. Whereas if you enroll into my program, you only have the max of 36 months. That's what you choose. Okay, I will exit out of that and go back to this. And just to kind of reiterate what I just talked about, the average private university costs $250,000 or more over 4 years. That's a lot of money. And it leaves you with a degree and $90,000 in student debt. And that is true. I can't imagine what the debt is right now. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to college, but the debt is astronomically high. However, to start an online business is going to cost you under $500, depending upon the type of business you're trying to build. but initially starting off is very cheap. And I will say, according to Forbes 2024, people that are starting up an online business, they are making pretty good money. They're really making good money. Now, don't let that fool you. It does take time to make that kind of money, but it can be made. And at that point, you'll be able to start paying off a lot of bills. So that's something to think about. So in my side hustle program, this is what you will receive. I help you build a real product and a real service. I will teach you how to share your story to attract the right clients, whether it's B2B or B2C. And I can tell you that from experience that I have attracted a lot of B2B clients, possibilities, and they're not small ones. This recent one here, as I said, I don't know how it's going to go, but if a university, if someone that is affiliated from a university is saying, hey, you know, I'm sure this particular university would benefit, the students there would benefit from what you have, that is a huge game changer. Okay. So again, do not allow anybody to tell you what you have to offer. Nobody's going to buy it, because that's a lie. It's a lie. So don't worry about the haters. You're going to have your haters. Okay. The visibility and partnership, that's what you'll receive from me. I teach you how to go about becoming visible. And I have the circle so you can, you know, gain the partnerships. And I also have a pipeline of grant writers. You need the grant writers. Don't let anybody tell you that you do not. You need the grant writers. That way it will ease the cost. You're not going to be paying out of pocket. You invest, again, as a business owner, you have to invest in your business. That way, later on down the road, you're not going to be out of a lot of money out of pocket. And then also, whatever you create, that's going to bring in income. And your business doesn't have to be full blown built. You can build one piece and then gain, you know, earn money from that as long as it's packaged right. And then you can scale up from that point on. You're not just, I don't have just a course. Okay. I don't do that. I absolutely hate just courses and a certificate. And then what? I want to make for sure that my clients, you are going to get the best of both worlds. And even with the marketing team, you don't have to go looking for a marketing team. And I said this before, and I'll keep saying this. By me providing the marketing team for you, is saving you a lot of money, because I'm going to tell you right now, a marketing team is not cheap. It's not cheap at all. But because I have an affiliation and I do have a marketing team, that's going to cut your cost probably by a third. So you're investing in a system that pays you back. I teach you how to use LinkedIn, and I teach you the things that colleges can't teach you, which is making your story profitable. If you are ready to work with me, DM me Side Hustle or click on the link in the chat and we can get started. You guys, this was it. This lasted 34 minutes, which I absolutely love. That gives us time to for questions, for Q&A. Let's see. All right, I'm not seeing any questions so far. And again, if you have registered for this event, the 6-day event, after I am done recording, this will be uploaded into Thinkific for you to go back and watch the replay, and then DM me if you have any questions. Today is a beautiful day. I hope you guys are having a great day. Let's see.
Having a great day.
If there are not any questions, then I will actually end the live. Maybe I'll wait a few more minutes for anybody to pop on. And I think it was brought to my attention. Maybe I'm doing an information overload. A lot of information has been spilled out over the last few weeks, I feel like. That's because I have a lot to say. And I have a lot to teach. Let's see here. I hope I went live. It says I went live on YouTube. Yep, I am live on YouTube. Yep. Just a few more minutes. Maybe I need to send out some invites. If nothing else today, this concludes today's session. I hope you guys learned something, and of course, DM me. I will talk to you soon. Bye.